Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone. You're tuning in to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
What? Oh.
I'm back. I missed you guys. I feel rusty now, though. I'm a little nervous.
All right, don't be nervous. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Happy belated birthday. We didn't get to tell you in person, so first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Everybody, Kennedy is back home. We missed you. Jeff is silent. He didn't miss you at all.
Well, listen.
I guess I was the only one here.
No, well, listen. When Adam comes in here looking like a businessman, dressed to the nines, all right, it's kind of intimidating. All right, this man's extremely intimidating.
I'm sweating over here. I wore a sweatshirt. Adam brought the tie out.
He means business. He means business.
That is true. But you guys, you already know. Yesterday was Monday, which means we had Monday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans, to my surprise, took the dub over the Bills 34-31. I didn't realize the Titans came into Monday night's game with 16 players already on IR. And then 2 of them got busted up during the game. You guys, give me your kind of recap, your thoughts on the game. Jeff, I'm going to start with you.
Well, yeah, it was an odd game because at first Buffalo was moving the ball pretty much with ease. Josh Allen didn't have a third down until really in the end zone on the first drive. They were moving it pretty efficiently. One thing that kind of worries me about Buffalo is not their offense, because they can get going pretty much whenever. It's number one or number two. It's their defense. Just this game broke down. I mean, they had 2 shutouts. The whole NFL only has 1 this season, so they've been on a very, very hot streak, and they give up 34 to the Tennessee Titans. So take it with a grain of salt. It was in Tennessee. It was a tough place to play. More importantly, though, what worries me is this Buffalo team when you have to, because we talk about situationally having to run the ball. When Josh Allen's attempting more, attempts rushing than Singletary or Zach Moss, 2 guys that had it going, against a Tennessee Titans team who struggles to stop the run. I mean, they looked pretty good though, Tennessee. I mean, got to give them credit. Ryan Tannehill, I think he was 2 for 8 early on. Derrick Henry was like 4 for 8 yards. I mean, they had nothing going. A.J. Brown was on the sidelines getting attended to. All of a sudden, come out. Derrick Henry's getting more yards. He gets the 76-yard run for the touchdown. Tannehill starts working the play action, gets A.J. Brown. Julio with a beautiful pass interference catch, which is ridiculous. Stayed focused on that one. So it's really about, number one, got to give credit to Tennessee. They beat a good team, a team who's on fire as of late. Since Pittsburgh, essentially week 1, they've been dominant. And, credit to Mike Vrabel for his coaching staff coming in and getting a win, even though regardless of how Tennessee's season started. I mean, they were, 0-2, 1-2. Now they're 4-2. So, you got to give credit. I just wish Buffalo, they need to commit to the run a little, earlier. I mean, Josh Allen can throw you every first down. But what happens when you take
somebody, when you draft a player, Jeff, and it's like, all right, I really like this guy coming out, and he kind of just struggles, and you're like, well, that's not kind of what I expected. And where I'm going with this is Zach Moss.
Yeah.
They got to end the Zach Moss project, or they got to haul him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Devin Singletary was averaging over 5 yards a carry last night, and you gave him the fewest attempts between the 3. Between Josh Allen, Zach Moss, and Devin Singletary. The guy who led the team in rushing and had the most yards per attempt was the one who got the fewest touches. I mean, what are we doing here?
And what my explanation to that would be, they like to use Zach Moss in the pass game, and they're lining up in these DeAndre Swift type sets where they have their pass back out there. And Singletary, to your point, every time the guy got the ball, he was getting 6 yards, 5 yards. So it didn't make sense to me. I mean,
Zach Moss in the passing game, 4 targets last night through the air. He caught 2 of them, went for about 14 yards. Devin Singletary had 5 catches.
Yeah.
Granted, only 15 yards, 16 yards. But still, the guy is as capable, if not more capable. Buffalo needs to figure out their run game situation.
Yep.
You're not going to win long-term not being able to run the ball situationally. And speaking of teams that are able to run the ball, my goodness, Derrick Henry is not fair. He should be banned from the NFL. He is unfair. He's a pain in the ass to tackle. He is intimidating as hell. My goodness, I can't remember the last time I've seen this intimidating of a running back. 20 carries, and it was the most punishing 20 carries I've seen in a while.
Oh, my God.
He only went for 143 yards. Count your blessings, Buffalo. Count your blessings that you had just enough of a lead going into the second half, midway through the third quarter, where they had to throw the ball downfield. Because I promise you, Derrick Henry goes for 250 if that game is a little different and Tennessee are the ones with the lead in the third quarter. Couldn't be stopped. 7 yards a carry? Guys, 7 yards a carry. Every time you give him the ball,
it's ridiculous.
You're getting a first down on the second or third carry. That is ridiculous.
And he's punishing like 2 guys in the process. Like punishing.
I mean, we talk about it. This is a guy you don't want to tackle late in the fourth quarter.
No.
You're tired. You're beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting late in the game, and you got to tackle this 250, 60-pound guy who's probably faster than you.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Derrick Henry, I mean, you talk about a guy where it's like, we just got a game plan for Derrick Henry. It's so easy to say that. We're just going to put 7, 8 guys in the box. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I got to give Ryan Tannehill credit last night. No touchdown passes, yes. But, outside of that lone interception, he actually had a really good game. He bounced back. Second half, I could say he was almost flawless.
Yeah.
He had a really good second half. A.J. Brown, thank goodness, finally showed up to a football game this year. Only took us 6 games, but he finally made it, guys. The Tennessee Titans have a second wide receiver. His name is A.J. Brown. He finally showed up this year. That's really good for them. Julio Jones, only 5 targets, 3 catches, 59 yards.
Yeah.
Nothing special, but still, Tennessee did enough to win the football game. And they beat, in my opinion, one of the best teams in football.
Yep.
And, we're going to give away our power rankings as we always do on Tuesdays about teams in the top 10. Tennessee made a bold push to get into the top 10 with a big Monday night primetime win over one of the best teams in football in the Buffalo Bills. So both teams are now 4-2.
Yeah.
Let's just shoot towards the end, right? 4th and 1. You can kick a field goal to tie it, Jeff, or you go for it and you try to win the game. Now, I got to be honest. Did I like the play call? Absolutely. I loved it. I had no problem with it. Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He's a physical specimen.
Yep.
Good luck trying to get him to go down before he gets at least a yard. I like the call. What I didn't like, and again, he's a young quarterback. Josh Allen, you saw the defensive line shift in. You had 4 linemen between the guard and the center. 4 linemen, which means the middle was taken away. So you had 2 options, Josh. One, you audible out, or you call a timeout and you move on. Number 2, you don't go a QB sneak right down the middle. You do the Lamar Jackson kind of finesse QB sneak, where you run right a little bit and then run into the tackle and the right guard. That's kind of the play that was available there, but he didn't recognize it. He went straight between the guard and the center.
Defender made a good play.
Stuffed.
Yeah.
And he was stuffed. And shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. I mean, I'm not too much into that, but, as a young quarterback, that's what you got to learn from. He knows next time I can't do that. If this is the read I get, I need to make 2 decisions. Audible out, call timeout, or I'm running a different kind of QB sneak. Or I run toss play. And I completely eliminate the linemen from the play. So if 4 linemen are centered up on my guard and centers, well, I'm running a pitch out. And I'm going to send my left tackle, my left guard, and they're going to go out and get the linebackers and the corners, and we're going to have a good opportunity to get a yard or maybe even a touchdown. I mean, this is how you have to think on the fly as a professional NFL quarterback. And Josh Allen wasn't able to do that. Your thoughts on the call? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
No, I had no problem with it. And especially, like you said, Josh Allen, he's your guy and someone who's very successful in those type of situations. You could settle for the field goal, but why? You're 4th and 1 on like the 5-10 yard line. You absolutely go for it. It just didn't work out in their favor. There's a couple plays. I mean, the Bills essentially beat themselves towards the end of the game. Yes, the Bills defense gave up 34 points, but regardless, I think the Bills left off a score or 2 off the board, especially early on when they went down the field, didn't even have a first down, I don't think, or a third down. Went all the way into the red zone and ended up kicking a field goal. Like that, those are the types of situation you got to capitalize on. They just were a little flat early, but like you said, credit to Derrick Henry. This man, 3 touchdowns. I think the Titans are 6-0 when Derrick Henry runs for 3 touchdowns. It's absolutely ridiculous. He is the engine of this team because he makes Tannehill look good. He makes the receivers get open. I mean, it's spectacular. And you could see the Bills last night, a good defense. This is a good defense. didn't want to tackle that man. Yeah, I mean, that's a grown man. You got to
they
make a
did
business
job
decision.
Early. They did a good job
Decent,
early.
yes.
He broke off the 76-yarder. That really
And
changed.
after that, it was just
It was
kind of down. After that.
I still think they did a good enough job on Derrick Henry. You take out the 76-yarder. He had 19 attempts for what? 100, not even 60 yards, 70 yards. So
Yeah,
I mean,
about 4 or 5 clip.
They did good. I mean, it's as good as you can do against Derrick Henry.
At least in the red
honest.
zone, they could not contain the man.
Well, I mean, again, tough to tackle a guy that big, that strong. So, I mean,
awesome.
you take it with a pinch of salt. It's a loss for the Bills. Yeah, does it derail their season? No, you're going to lose football games in the NFL. How you recover and learn from them is very, very important. And that is a sign of a good football team. Now Buffalo has a bye. They'll go into the bye. And again, Josh Allen will have to learn from his mistake. It wasn't the coach's mistake. This is a quarterback mistake. And I trust my quarterback. I trust Josh Allen. I put him in a situation where, hey, go win me the football game. I earned the respect of my entire locker room because I put the ball in my best player's hand. But he's a young player, and he did make a mistake. He should have recognized Tom Brady audibles out of that situation, or he sneaks it outside of the guards, and he goes towards the tackle. Because you know the 4 linemen set between the guard and the center are going to crash inside, and they're not going to allow you to get the cheap quarterback sneak. And all you had to do was take the ball, move outside, and then dive in for the 1 yard. And you would have set yourself with an opportunity to win the football game. That's it. Now, easier said than done, Adam. Well, you know what? No. That's what your job is as a quarterback. Your pre-snap reads. And the moment Josh Allen, who was in shotgun, saw the defensive line shift in, he moved towards the line of scrimmage, which means it was already a called quarterback sneak. That was the call. He lined up in shotgun to throw them off. They cut in immediately. He walks up to the center, and he made the decision not to audible out, and he made the decision not to run a different type of quarterback sneak. It's on him. It's on him, and he'll learn from it. He's a very good young quarterback. And that's all you can take away from last night's game. No regrets. You know, you're going to lose football games throughout the season. This is just one of them for the Buffalo Bills. Yep. This is still a 12-13 win football team, especially in a weak division. Second place in the Tennessee division and the Buffalo division are both 2-4. The Colts and the Patriots.
And think about it, their next 3 games. They got Dolphins, who they shut out, the Jaguars, who they will beat, and then the Jets. That's their next 3 games. So Bills will be fine. Just got to win out, and I think they can do that, considering who they play.
Yeah, again, easy schedule coming up. This is a team that could easily be 7-2 3 weeks from now.
Yeah,
so
3 weeks from now.
We talk about easy schedules. The Buccaneers also have an easy next 3-4 games, so they could be looking pretty. I'm curious to see where you have them in your power rankings later on today. Kennedy.
All right, you guys.
Missed you.
Oh my gosh, I feel so loved. Anyway. Coming up next, we will be moving on to the NBA. The season tips off tonight, so we can get pumped up for that. But you guys, you know what else is pumped up? The air in here. You know the drill. We got to hear about our friends over at Northwestern Tech.
Yeah, listen, you or any friend you know that's looking to go to a trade school, I know one. I got one in mind. It's Northwestern Tech. You could start a new career in an industry that is always essential. It's the heating and cooling industry. You can learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome back, everyone. You know the drill. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on Woodward Sports, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I'm glad to be back with everyone. I feel at home in my little squishy chair with all my pillows and everything.
We survived without you, but it was much more difficult than we thought. So
really, I think it went easier than you
Joanna
guys
did a
thought.
good job.
She did. She killed it. Clap
But
it up
nobody
for
can
Jo.
replace Kennedy.
Oh, well, that's nice. And nothing can replace this lit opening of the NBA season tonight. We've got the Warriors taking on the Lakers. I think that's at 10 p.m. Wow, what a late game. I won't be up. But we also have the Nets versus the Bucks. I think that's at 7 or 7:30. I'm not sure, but that sounds like an exciting game to me. Nets versus Bucks, I like it. But you guys, I want your take on it. I'll start with you, Jeff. You're my NBA guy. You know what's going on. So what are you thinking about these two games?
Oh, yeah, it's great opening night. NBA does a good job every single year getting the best teams. I mean, these two teams going against each other. Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks. You have the Golden State Warriors versus the Los Angeles Lakers. These are really top 4 odds teams. Like, if you had to go, who's your top 4 pick to really win the NBA Finals for me, that would be really the top 4. So it's a great opening night. If I had to give individual predictions, Kyrie obviously is not going to play for Brooklyn. I don't know if the game, I believe they play. Yeah, it's in Milwaukee, so it's going to be tough, man. They get their rings opening night. Giannis looks very good in preseason, at least. I mean, the guy is a jumper, what it seems like. It kind of looks like Chris Middleton's showing him a thing or two. He's doing pull-up threes. He's working in mid-range, post fadeaways. I mean, the guy's game is developing, and a lot of people predicted, but it's kind of scary seeing it come to fruition. But tonight, Brooklyn Nets, they're just going to have James Harden, Kevin Durant, obviously Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap. If I had to give a prediction, I think the Bucks will still win tonight. It's at home. It's going to be a lot of emotion tonight, and I think they smack the Brooklyn Nets in the mouth, and then the Brooklyn Nets will bounce back from that. For the Lakers and the Warriors, that's going to be a game, man. 10 o'clock p.m. You got LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis going against the I don't think Klay Thompson is back yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still out with that ACL injury, but Steph Curry will be there. Jordan Poole, a lot of people's favorite player, he'll be there. If I had to give a prediction for that game, listen, I think it's in LA, man. That's gonna be a tough game for the Warriors, no doubt. You know what? I'll go LA. I think the Los Angeles Lakers pull out a win. Opening night, I think they go 1-0. Both teams get a win. I think the Lakers just signed Avery Bradley too, and the Warriors just cut him. So it's kind of funny how that works out. He'll be playing against the team who just cut him. But if I had to give my kind of championship predictions, I've already kind of hinted at them maybe a week ago. I still believe, I think the Los Angeles Lakers, if healthy, are the best team in the West. I mean, you could say you got the Golden State Warriors. Adams picked the Denver Nuggets. There are some other good teams, but I just think on paper, experience-wise, you got coaching experience in the finals. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff going for the Lakers. I think they'll make the finals from the Western side. And then you got the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks, really between the two for me. I mean, Philly's out of the question with the whole Ben Simmons thing. I mean, even before then. But it's really between these two teams going at it tonight. So these are two possible Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals we're watching tonight. We couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, all NBA fans should be thrilled to see these two match up tonight. It's gonna be great. What are your predictions, Adam?
For the NBA Finals, I've got Nuggets Bucks.
Okay.
And I've got the Bucks repeating again. I know the Nets. Look. In the NBA, it is about, do you have the star player? Do you have the super team? And the Nets do. They just check all the boxes. They really do. But you know what I haven't seen from Kevin Durant? I haven't seen him lead a team, Jeff. And I'm not talking just being the best player on a team. Kevin Durant reminds me a ton of Miami LeBron. Most dominant player in the game, unguardable, was an absolute beast during that time. But what was LeBron's problem in Miami? He didn't know how to win by himself. And D-Wade helped him. And not to say that takes away from LeBron, but LeBron went through that maturation cycle year 1 and 2 with D-Wade. Year 3 and 4 in Miami, it was all LeBron.
Yep.
All LeBron, and nobody could question it. He was the alpha, he was the leader, and he took it to Cleveland, and we know the rest of the story. Then he went to L.A., and we know what happened. Kevin Durant has yet to prove that. So let's be very careful picking the Nets. And this is why I'm going to hold back a little bit. Because Kevin Durant went and learned, or you'd expect he learned, from the greatest, most unselfish leader currently in the NBA, who is Steph Curry, who was the engine to that team. Was he the best player on the team? No. But it wasn't by much. And yes, Kevin Durant was the best player. But he was the best player benefiting from the culture and leadership of a really well-run team. He got to go up against LeBron in the finals. Yeah, he made LeBron look bad. He hit those amazing shots. It's so easy to do that when everything around you is perfect. We talk about this with quarterbacks.
Glad someone said it.
When you have the best team around you, you're running the ball, everything looks good, you can make all the throws. But what happens when your team needs you? Golden State never needed Kevin Durant. He just made them unbeatable.
Yep.
That's all. Golden State never needed Kevin Durant. They would be, if healthy, in multiple Western Conference Finals years on from Kevin Durant. But this is how the NBA played out. And I still don't think Kevin Durant is good enough of a leader so far. He hasn't proven he can lead the team and get them over the finish line as the true alpha one. Now, we can talk about his performance against Milwaukee last year in the playoffs. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
He proved he was the best player in the NBA. That's not the question here. But can he lead the Nets to an NBA championship? He hasn't proven it. Yes, he's got 2 titles. Yes, he's got 2 finals MVPs. But he hasn't done it as the sole alpha. And that's what he is right now in Brooklyn. So I've got the Bucks going back. I just think Giannis is a different breed. His work ethic, not to question others, but he's just on a different level.
Yep.
I think the Nuggets get out of the West. The West is tricky this year. I know everybody loves LA. And believe me, if you would just tell me on paper and I just close my eyes and I don't remember anything about NBA history, and you told me Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook, I'd be like, holy crap, that team's going to the finals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's put it into context. LeBron, year 19.
Yeah.
He's beginning getting injured a lot.
And Russell's already injury prone.
Russell's already
Anthony
injury
Davis
prone.
is street clothes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know.
So, it's really difficult on the longevity basis to say the Lakers are going to be healthy and ready to make a push for the NBA Finals. I don't know that. And I think their regular season record may not be all that great. It may not. And if you're going to rely on Westbrook to carry you in the West, you're probably going to be a 6-7 seed.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to play a really good basketball team round 1 and a really good one round 2. You're not going to be the 1 seed anymore. So I find it difficult to see LA going that far.
You know what? I agree with your point about, especially about the Brooklyn Nets, because what we know is with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, they were essentially unbeatable. They could beat anybody. But now we're taking Kyrie out of that equation. You have a James Harden, you have Kevin Durant, 2 guys. I don't trust James Harden. That's for dang sure. And then now you got Kevin Durant, who you can trust. Can he win you games? Like you said, lead you to victory, get you to the finals. You're absolutely right. It's still a question. And with Giannis, you have that certainty that at least he'll be the for sure dominant player. They have a good squad around him, so the Bucks aren't a bad pick. Honestly, that's where I struggle. It's between the Bucks and the Nets in the Eastern Conference. You want the Brooklyn Nets to at least be in that contention. You want the Milwaukee Bucks to get back in the finals, but that's what makes it so great. This NBA season can be very unpredictable, but especially out of both conferences. I mean, you don't know, but if you real quick, I want to see who do you think MVP will be before this season?
I say Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant comes out and just, again, he is the best player in basketball. He is the most unguardable player I've seen in a very long time. And I've witnessed LeBron. I've witnessed Michael Jordan. I've witnessed Kobe. Allen Iverson. You've seen like some of the most prolific scorers ever. But Kevin Durant is what, 7 feet? His wingspan is unreachable. And if he decides to shoot the ball, you can't block it. He is the most skilled, unguardable player I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is the best player in the NBA. Now, is he going to develop as a leader? I hope so. That would be really good for the NBA. If Kevin Durant comes out, balls out, wins the MVP, leads his team to a finals and wins it, that is one of the best things to happen to the NBA. Giannis already won. He kind of helped the narrative of you can stay on your team and win. Now you need Kevin Durant to be the alpha leader and win a championship. I think that's a really good narrative for the NBA. But MVP, I'm going to go Kevin Durant. I think it's set up for him to win the MVP. He's probably going to score anywhere between 29 and 31 a game. And depending how often he plays, probably he's a 31-5-6 guy, 31-5-5 maybe. That's my MVP this year. I think Kevin Durant wins it, although I don't know if he has enough in him to win a Finals MVP again without a true leader. James Harden's not a leader.
No, you know.
There's a reason why he hasn't won. Like, I know everybody loves Russell Westbrook. He's a great athlete, and he's really a top point guard of all time. He's probably in the top 15, top 10. Hell, if you want to push him there, that's fine. I don't care. But when you're talking from a leadership standpoint, I'd rather have Tony Parker. I'd rather have Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
I'd rather have many point guards. Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry. Hell, I would take Damian Lillard. So be very careful how much you expect from the Lakers. Given Russell Westbrook, he's not the alpha. Is he going to be expected to be the leader and the alpha on that team? No. But he's still a true alpha. And
does he know
inside.
that?
Is he willing to be a number 3? Because that's what he needs to be. If Russ is the best number 3 in the NBA this year, the Lakers are going to be a problem if healthy. But I don't think Russell Westbrook is capable of that. So, Kennedy, who do you think is going to the finals? I know it's a random question, but do you think LeBron gets back, or is it Kevin Durant's year?
I hope it's KD's year.
Really?
I don't know why I hope that, but I just do. Don't ask any questions. I literally, the NBA, me. We're
Hey,
not
Adam, real
we're
quick.
not besties
Go
like
ahead.
that.
Real quick,
but
Steph Curry is winning MVP. All right, that's my pick.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I don't know
think
why.
he's
If he was going to win
handsome.
MVP, it probably would have been last year.
Well, they're going to win more games this year. That's why I think. I think they'll win more games because it's last year they made it the play-in tournament. You can't give him MVP.
I mean,
Speaking of the Currys, though, this might be like not factual, but I follow this like insider on TikTok that gets all these like things leaked to them. I don't think Aisha and Steph have been together for like 3 years. It's all money grab stuff. I hear they're not like actually together. Just saying.
Conspiracy.
Just saying. But anyway, we got to head to break. Over the weekend, you guys, I didn't have Adam with me to do a parlay, so I did one by myself, and it hit. And I'm so happy. But the problem was I was in Ohio, and most sports books, there we go, fishy. Most sports books, they don't work everywhere. But we know people.
why would it work in Ohio? It's like the most incompetent state in America.
My
Hey,
bookie
shut your mouth
works
up.
in
Ohio's a great
Ohio
state.
Is what I was going to say, so why doesn't Adam tell us about it?
My bookie works from anywhere, anytime, because they can overcome even the worst cities and states in America, including Ohio. So when you're betting, it's important to know who you're betting on, where you're betting from. Understand that, hey, NFL season's kicked off. Make the right calls. Don't make emotional bets. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. And when you sign up today using code Woodward, they'll match your deposit up to 50%. You put in $100, they'll give you $50. You put in $200, they give you $100. Guys, no better time. Thursday night football coming up. NBA tips off tonight. Pistons play Wednesday. Lots of great action coming up shortly. But please, guys, as a reminder, if you do have a gambling problem or you feel you need help or somebody to talk to, please call the Problem Gambling Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. I'm so happy to be back. But you guys, like they do every week, the boys have their NFL power rankings. They're going to give you their top 10 teams in the NFL. So let's do a little back and forth like usual, I think. We'll start at number 10 with Adam.
All right, number 10, the team, huge primetime win last night. Jeff, I think we both agree. They got to be in the top 10.
I got him 10 too.
Oh, do you?
Look,
All right,
I'm
very
just
good.
proud
Well,
we
I
got
think-
10 right, man. I'm proud.
All right, thank God for one of these days we finally agreed on something.
go.
Tennessee at number 10, they're
Okay.
4-2 signature win over one of the best teams I think we can agree in football over the
Yep.
Buffalo Bills. Big win for them. They really needed that. Falling to 3-3 would have been a disaster. Would have had the Colts only a game out. So big win for Tennessee. I have them 10 this week. Would you like to add anything to that?
No, you spot on. Big time win. I mean, they've slowly been improving. I think last week we talked about they were right outside of our top 10. Now, there you go. They made a berth. They're in the top 10.
All right, very good. Jeff, my number 9 team, they won on Sunday. They haven't looked the best this year.
No.
But they got to be in the top 10 because you know what? At the end of the day, they have a proven head coach, a proven quarterback, a proven system. I got the Chiefs, number 9 at 3-3. Don't tell me you agree.
I do. I got this. Let's go, baby.
All
I'm
right,
glad.
Jeff looked at my notes, Kennedy.
Yeah, I did. I looked at his
We need
notes.
to have a meeting, a team meeting after this. I don't like this at all. So the Chiefs at number 3. Then go ahead. You explain it.
Hey, okay, listen, the Kansas City Chiefs, like you said, didn't look necessarily good to start the season. They win. They get to win over a Washington team. You can say what you want about them. Defensively, they've been questionable. Chase Young hasn't been who we kind of expected him to to make the jump this year, but Taylor Heineke, they absolutely destroyed them. And I think over time, Kansas City Chiefs will creep back into that top 6, top 5 contention like they've always been. It's just they've been playing so horribly. They're nearly out of our top 10. Thank God they won, so they're back in it. But my number 8 team is a team that has fell a little bit, but they'll be back up. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. Listen, no,
What is happening? All right, Kennedy.
No,
We're having an emergency
Emergency.
team broadcasting meeting after the show. This is unacceptable. I also have the Chargers number 8
You guys
on my
have
list.
to stop sharing notes.
okay,
This is lame.
it just makes sense because you put them in front of Kansas City. They beat Kansas City, but they're behind Baltimore, which they lost to. And listen, Justin Herbert.
Well, I don't even care about the head-to-heads right now. Just that was a bad loss.
Well, yes,
And they had
the
to
teams
fall
in front of them.
significantly. I had them in the top 5.
Yeah.
They had to fall back. And again, there's 7 teams better than the Chargers
Yep.
right now.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
doesn't mean by the end of the year they're not going to be a top 5 team. That just means, you know what? They got it to them. They got to hand it to them this week against Baltimore. They got to take a step back. There are a lot of teams that won that deserve to be out of them. Fair?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All
What's
right,
your
number 7. Stay away from me. If you agree with this, I'm walking off the set. All right. So you better be very careful on what you
All right.
decide your number 7 team is. Green Bay Packers.
It was one off. But
Thank
yeah.
God.
Oh, we're getting
Thank
close.
you, God.
I mean, it's close. It's
All right. Green Bay Packers, I really wanted them higher. They are deserving of it. A road win against Chicago. Key victory. I've had them between 6 and 7 all year, back and forth, back and forth. They haven't really done anything to fall or, fall significantly. So Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, they are now, I believe, 31 and 7
Yep.
in their 2 and a quarter years together. Unbelievable. Regular season only. Good for them. I have them number 7 on my list. Who's your number 7? I'm going to assume it's Dallas.
No, it is. It's Baltimore.
Oh,
And
ooh,
listen,
okay.
this is why. Let me
I like
explain. My
this.
5, 6, and 7. It's really exchangeable. These 5, 6, and 7 is very tough to do the order. And in Baltimore, I put 7. Listen, Lamar hasn't looked great as of last week, but as a team, they've been clicking. I mean, obviously, they get the win over Chargers. They have pretty key wins, the comeback win over the Colts. So, I mean, Lamar Jackson, that man, we talk about John Harbaugh being coach of the year. Lamar Jackson's inserted himself. If he plays better, because the team's winning, 2 interceptions like last week is not going to get you the MVP trophy. But if the guy can continue to have games like he did against the Colts, man, this team's going to be dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous. So I got him at 7. If you want, I'll do my 6 team
Please
as well.
go ahead, yep.
6, I got the Green Bay Packers. And listen, we know what they can do offensively. They signed Jalen Smith. Defensively, they're okay. They're figuring things out. But you can't deny that offense. I mean, that's a top 3, 4, 5 offense in the league on paper. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, who went for 200 yards already this year. I mean, I want to see them get Robert Tonyan going. This is a guy that led the all tight ends in touchdowns last year. He hasn't been doing squat this year. But other than that, got to give the Green Bay Packers that 6th spot to me. So.
Well, I had Green Bay at 7. Number 6, I've got the Dallas Cowboys, just outside the top 5. Very deserving to be considered a top 5 football team right now. They really haven't done anything wrong outside of lose to the defending Super Bowl champions. 5-1 right now. Yep. Dallas look really good heading into the bye. It's going to be really hard for me to move this team heading into next week when they haven't played a game other teams have played. Do they move down, up? I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to keep them at 6 even regardless of what happens around the league, unless really the top 5 teams all lose. But regardless, Cowboys number 6 on my list. Top 5. Here we go.
Yep.
I disagree where you put Baltimore.
Okay.
Considering what they've had to overcome, considering Lamar Jackson's play as of late, considering John Harbaugh's coaching ability, I've got them number 5. I think to be 5-1 at this point, to have beaten the teams they've beaten, with the injuries they've had, they've lost their best corner, they've lost their 2 best running backs, and they're still out there playing good fundamental football. I like the Baltimore Ravens. I think that narrative is what really drives me into having them as a top 5 football team. I could honestly make the argument they could be 7, just like you had them, and I could have the Cowboys and the Bucks. The Cowboys and the Cowboys and Packers over them. But I really think they're deserving this week to be a top 5 football team, coming off beating a team we both agree is a top 10 team in the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep.
I think it's a key signature win. I like Baltimore number 5 in my list this week.
I have no problem. Like I said, 5, 6, and 7. I mean, my 5 is Dallas Cowboys, and I listen. Say what you want about Dallas and Mike McCarthy, and listen. Cowboys in the past, especially with Jason Garrett, you never really take them seriously. They can go 13-3, get a playoff win, and then flush out of the playoffs. But This year, they're figuring things out defensively, and me and Adam talked about this a couple days ago. Their coaching staff, you got Dan Quinn controlling your defense, you got Kellen Moore controlling your offense. I mean, those two essentially are the I don't even look at Mark McCarthy as the head coach of this team. I'm looking at all the coordinators they got and the talent they have with those guys. And listen, Dak's been playing as good as anybody. I mean, he's doing what he did last year before he got injured. They have a dynamic run game. Zeke and Pollard, they're really trying to get going. Patriots, they didn't play necessarily well on the ground, but that'll change. It's the Patriots. They're going to play that way. And offensively, you know what they can do. Their wide receiver core, their offensive line's kind of playing well as of late. Zach Martin's out there. I just like the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, on paper, I have faith in Dak Prescott to at least get this team a playoff win. I don't know how far they can go after that, but on paper, I got them as a top 5 team. And the only reason why Baltimore, as good as they are, I look at it like this. What team, at least on paper, I mean, listen, they got a good win over the Chargers, a big win. But even before then, going down to the Colts, coming back in that game, you got to give credit where it's due. I don't have a problem with it. It was more so just, what team do I see beating the Baltimore Ravens? And the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys are, you can argue any of those three, man, could be exchangeable. But I got Dallas in my top 5.
All right, very good. Number 4, I've got the Tampa Bay Bucks, defending Super Bowl champions. I don't think they can be higher than 4. Outside of, beating Dallas, they've beaten down all the teams they've played. Yes, they've looked dominant, but you know what? I have too many questions about their health going into the later part of the year. Maybe I'm being unfair having them at 4, especially because they have more wins than the Buffalo Bills. But you know what? I'm going to stick with the Bucks at 4. I'm not going to move them any higher unless it just gets really bad for the teams that I have above them.
Okay. I have the Buffalo Bills at 4.
I figured.
And the only reason why, listen, it's week-to-week power rankings. I think the Buffalo Bills will end up top 2, if not 3 team in the NFL. But right now, they just dropped a tough game in Tennessee against Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. But their defense isn't as bad as they displayed last night. So they will bounce back. But Tampa Bay, like you said, weaker opponents, to your point, they've had pretty dominant wins. So is Buffalo. So it honestly could go either way.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with either one.
Look, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think Buffalo should be 4. They lost to a good football team yesterday.
But their first
barely.
3 games,
I understand, but they've been just as dominating as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been. I still think Buffalo is a more complete football team than Tampa Bay. The only difference, Tampa Bay has the GOAT and an insane amount of receiving weapons. But regardless, number 3, Buffalo Bills. I just kind of gave it away. I have the Bills at number 3. They were in 1 last week on my list. They're going to fall to 3. They lost. It's a bad loss in the sense of, you know what? When you're the number 1 team in the NFL, you don't want to lose. And you're going to lose football games throughout the year. But I got to have them at number 3 this week. I don't have them any lower. I still think they're one of the most complete football teams in the NFL. Who's your number 3 team? I'm going to imagine it's the Bucs.
Yeah, it is the Bucs. And just because we just had the discussion, I mean, it's 4-3. A lot of these are interchangeable. I mean, a lot of the things are just hearsay. Just got, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3. I'd love to hear your 1 and 2. It's going to be interesting because you're going to say a team that it's going to hate the taste in your mouth when you say it for number 1, I'm sure. But I can't wait. But
all
yeah,
right.
3.
No.
I got Tampa Bay.
All right, I'll give you 3 again. We're pulling hairs here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, 3 and 4, Bucks, Bills. I'm not going to argue too much over this. Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
Yep. Listen. Let me just start with the Rams. We'll get to the Cardinals.
Okay.
Because we agree on the Rams at number 2, correct?
Yeah, we do.
Let me just handle the Rams, then we'll get into the Cardinals. The Los Angeles Rams, a dominating win against the Giants. Matthew Stafford reasserted himself into the MVP conversation. He will likely put up 9-10 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions this week.
Yep.
So he will definitely be in the MVP conversation. They definitely will be 6-1, and they're going to be sitting pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the team everyone wants to talk about. Arizona Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury tests positive for COVID, misses the game, and they go away to Cleveland and beat the bricks off of the Cleveland Browns. And now the Browns are 3-3 with one of the best O-lines, one of the best running back duos. Granted, Chubb was out, but still, this is a team that had a lot of things going. Baker, again, proving us so right here.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback that cannot win you football games when everything isn't going his way. That's just the reality.
I can't believe that team's not in the top 10. I mean, just because of Baker Mayfield, it's ridiculous. How stacked they are, man.
I mean, they're maybe 12 on my list.
Yeah,
if they're
that's
lucky
where I
at
had
3
them
and
right
3.
outside.
Honestly, I'll let you take the floor with Arizona. You were very right about them.
Yeah.
They're not only contenders. They were missing pieces on defense going into Cleveland, and they still handled business, forced turnovers. Arizona looks really good.
Yep.
Now, My only concern now is Kyler Murray.
Is
he going to hold up? It wasn't pretty from Kyler. He had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But it was just a game of field position. I mean, the defense was really setting up Arizona to score all day. If Cleveland didn't punt the ball, that's a much closer game. If Cleveland didn't turn the ball over as much as they did, that's a much closer game. And I'm not sure Kyler moves the ball as effectively. But regardless, they won. They were dominant. Arizona 6-0, last undefeated team in the NFL, deserves to be number 1. Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, any good team in the NFL, if you're going to be a good team, you need to get turnovers. And you saw what the Arizona Cardinals were able to do. No Chandler Jones, their guy who gave him 5 sacks in a game this year. And he was out. J.J. Watt filled in. They still were able to get after the quarterback. I mean, they have linebacker galore. They have secondary. They have a backfield who they can situationally run the ball. James Conner looked good, especially in the red zone. It kind of takes the pressure off Kyler Murray. I feel like he doesn't have to do as much with his legs this year, which last year he had to do a whole lot with his legs, which led to him kind of being worn down towards the end of the season. So this year they got to do a better job at keeping him fresh, for the 16th, 17th game going into the playoffs, because right now, on paper, this team, I mean, they are stacked. You could arguably lose a wide receiver or 2 and still be fine, or any positional group or 2. I mean, it's that stacked. So say what you want about the Arizona Cardinals. They are the real deal, at least in the regular season. I don't know what Cliff Kingsbury is going to do when he coaches his first playoff game, but hey, in terms of beating good teams, they're here. So they deserve to be number 1 on anyone's power rankings because they're the only undefeated team. So they deserved it, man.
All right, that wraps it up for our power rankings. I'll go over the top 5 real quick. I had Ravens, Bucks, Bills, Rams, Cardinals. Jeff, I believe you had Cowboys, Bills, Bucks, Rams, Cardinals.
Yep.
I like it. It was a good week.
Like
it was one of my favorite weeks. And I got to say, again, the Cardinals proved me really, wrong so far.
Well, we'll see.
Well, again,
we'll see.
Down the stretch, they're going to lose a few games, guys. They're not going 17-0. So they're going to be anywhere between 12-5, 13-4. Do they win the division? We'll see. They only have a 1-game lead, and it is a head-to-head lead, so to be fair to them. But they got division games coming up. A good win against Cleveland. See if they continue, but, again, this is a team you want to see. Week 15, we're talking about them as a top 5 team, not just right now.
Right.
This is a team that's shown us they fall off under Cliff Kingsbury later on in the year. Hopefully they don't. They really look good. They went and got Zach Ertz, so they look even better. But Kennedy, what do we got next?
Coming up next, you guys, I've seen you guys already talking about it in the chat. They're excited for this. Should we take a wide receiver? Allegedly, the Lions are poking around for one, so we will see. We got you covered on that coming up next. But first, now it's my favorite part of the show, and that is telling you guys about Legacy Partners Insurance. When you guys watch games, you know you're bombarded with insurance ads that promise to save you money. Well, guess what? They're capping, because Legacy Partners Insurance is who you really need if you want to save money. They're independent, so they shop between 7 and 10 carriers for your insurance needs to find you the best deals. So here's what I need you to do for my birthday, you guys. For my birthday, call 586-209-4106 and tell them that I sent you, not Ms. Kennedy sent you, not Ms.
Who?
All right, Ms. Just for getting a quote and telling them that I sent you, you'll be put in a drawing for $50 gift card. So go to or call legacypartnersins.com/Woodward today.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back, you guys. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. I almost slipped and I didn't. Rookie mistake. All right. You guys, we've seen it in the chat. Allegedly, we are poking around for a wide receiver. I want to know, should this happen before the trade deadline? We're 0-6 already. Is this a good move? And if they do it, who do you guys want to see?
This is the worst move I've ever heard of. So if you disagree, tell me now and I'll let you go.
I disagree.
All right,
with
go
getting
ahead.
a receiver. At least, listen. Everything has a price tag. Like, obviously, if Brad Holmes can find someone for cheap, then do it. But it just doesn't make sense. What is a wide receiver going to do this year to help you out? Number one. Number two, if he's going to help you win games, don't do it. I mean, in the position.
So we agree.
Yeah.
The hell you mean we disagree?
Like, I think you meant disagree that they should not get a wide receiver. Like,
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
God, no.
Yeah.
God, no.
No, they
God,
shouldn't.
no.
We agree on that. We do. So,
Okay.
but they shouldn't. I mean, a wide receiver this year, I mean, listen, there's not a whole lot of Julio Joneses. I remember that was floating around last year. People are so excited to go get Julio Jones. I was like, why? Why? Number one, you shouldn't get any wide receiver that, number one, is expiring. Like, I heard Michael Gallup get brought up. He's on an expiring deal. He's going to want to re-up his contract. Lions should not pay Michael Gallup, number one. And number two, you're not getting a veteran. You're not getting anybody older because they're not going to be around when you're relevant.
Who can you actually go out and trade for without giving too much?
Let me throw, like, I'm sure, like, I don't know if you can get, like, a Christian Kirk or maybe like Andy Isabella from the Cardinals or OBJ.
Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
You're not going to get no one good. Let's just say that.
Realistically, why give up draft capital to get a wide receiver that may not be here in a year or two?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like it at all. I think it's a waste of time. If you think wide receivers are holding back Jared Goff, you are sadly mistaken, my friends. He does not get rid of the ball quick enough. He does not spot the open man enough. It's that simple. And when he does, he doesn't even throw the ball. So before we kill Penei Sewell or anybody on that offensive line, let's keep in mind Jared Goff across the entire league is holding on to the ball more than any other quarterback. And I promise you, it's not because the wide receivers are not open. Go watch the film. There are multiple people open throughout the game where he's either A, checking down, B, throwing it away, or C, just a deer in the headlights. Where? That's your quarterback right now. Stop trying to defend Jared Goff. Can we stop this? Jared Goff would suck with Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay the same he sucks with the current wide receiving core. He is awful. Stop trying to defend Goff and say, well, we've seen that if you put the right pieces around Goff, he can win you playoff games and go to the Super Bowl. You guys kidding me? But you want to ignore the fact that they had one of the most brilliant offensive-minded head coaches in the NFL, and they still do. Where's your head coach that is so acclaimed, is so accomplished? You don't have that. So before you have the nerve to tell me Jared Goff, if given the right situation, could be functional, what about last year when he was a turnover machine, was injured for the playoffs? He didn't win a playoff game, just so you know. Woodward was actually the guy who got the credit for the win because he started the game. And last I checked, he attempted 19 passes in that playoff game, and Cam Akers went off for over 140 yards, and the defense absolutely shut down Russell Wilson. What happened against the Packers when they were down and they needed their quarterback to throw the football? Well, he looked like garbage. And they lost. That's simple. Move on. Stop. Stop trying to defend this version of Jared Goff. This is not the Jared Goff we saw come into the league with Sean McVay. He came in 0-7 under Jeff Fisher. McVay walks in. My goodness, a completely different human. Had 2.5 amazing seasons. Got to a Super Bowl. He was an elite quarterback at the time. He got paid. God knows what happened. The kid's regressed ever since. It doesn't matter about talent around him or the coach around him. He's regressed. And that's why Sean McVay was willing to give up 2 first-round picks and the guy just to get a replacement quarterback who we can all agree is much better. He is much, much better than Jared Goff. And if you think for a second Stafford isn't, you're delusional. And if you think for a second that it's the wide receivers that are holding this offense and Jared Goff back, you are sadly mistaken. Stop defending Jared Goff. Stop. I've had enough of this. Stop with the sympathy. Stop with the, well, that's my quarterback. Stop. He's not good. He is below average. And he'll be out of the league in the next 3 to 4 years after his next backup job goes to shit. That's Jared Goff. This isn't the young Jared Goff we all saw under Sean McVay. And last I checked, Dan Campbell is not Sean McVay. So how do you expect him to get more out of Jared Goff than Sean McVay could? You guys are so ignorant and naive, it's unbelievable. No wide receiver you trade for is going to help, and no wide receiver you actually trade for right now could realistically be on the team in 2-3 years when you're actually a good football team.
Yeah.
What am I missing here?
They traded the 6th-round pick for Trinity Benson, and he doesn't even look like he'll be on this football team in the year. So, I mean, argument's spot on. I mean, I don't know. If the Lions are trying to in the shoppings of a wide receiver, then why are you doing that? I mean, if they're going to help you win games this year, don't do it, number one. And number two, why give up draft capital? It doesn't make any sense. This team needs to be built through the draft. I mean, it's going to be a process.
Defending Goff?
He
didn't play good against Green Bay.
Stop defending.
I don't know what game you watched, but last I checked, they had 2 perfectly executed and scripted drives. Let me tell you something about the NFL, Bob. The NFL, nothing ever goes according to plan. And when it does, it looks amazing, and you score 17 points in the first half against Green Bay. And what happens? They make adjustments, and your script falls off, and now your quarterback is kind of dealing on the fly, and he doesn't know how to handle it. That's how the NFL works. That's why quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill don't do anything significant. That's why they're classed with a Jared Goff. Because if I can play in the NFL if everything goes according to the script, we complete all of our passes, our O-line protection is unreal, we're running the ball effectively, we're converting on 3rd down. Any quarterback looks good when the game plan is perfectly executed. But let me tell you something about the NFL. Not every week, not every quarter is your game plan or your script going to go according to plan. So please, do me a favor and don't use the first half against Green Bay as an example, because the young man put up a donut and multiple turnovers in the second half against Green Bay. Pick and choose very carefully what you want to use to defend Jared Goff. That is not the argument you want to use this morning with me on Jared Goff, his performance against Green Bay. What about the second half? We only acknowledge the good and not the bad. The kid is awful. He's lost all of his confidence. He is not the quarterback he used to be. And it's really sad. And I really mean that genuinely as a human. It's really sad to see somebody achieve elite status in the NFL or damn near close to it, and then just fall off a cliff, lose all of his confidence, all of his ability, and get traded away along with 2 first-round picks to one of, if not the worst organization in the NFL. That's pretty sad. And he's a good person. Jared Goff is a really good person. But he isn't the solution you need or want anymore. Stop trying to defend it. Please. Jeff, I'm not interested in a wide receiver. Go for it in the draft. I don't think there's a wide receiver out there you can actually trade for where you give up little value and get an extended amount of value over, more compensating than you could imagine. I don't see that deal out there. I don't.
No. I mean, you're spot on. There's no guy on the market right now that is a hot commodity number one, is on a cheap deal. It just doesn't make sense. You stay out of the equation. Brad Holmes, just relax. Your team's going to go probably 1-16, if not 0-17. But it's just the truth of the fact. So hold tight, address it through the draft, and hopefully next year maybe you can address it in free agency or whatever the case may be. But in terms of giving up draft capital, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right, Kennedy, we got to head to break. What do we got to do before we had to break?
Before we had to break, you guys know. Probably last night a few of you had pizza for Monday Night Football. Jeff, where should they all be ordering from?
Yeah, listen, I know a friend, and it's Papa Romano's, because the Papa Romano's is introducing to you a new pizza. It's actually pleased to meet you, if you kind of get what I'm saying there. It's the Pizza Pizza, and it has pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, bacon, and topped with a blend of all fresh cheeses. You can get your large pizza for only $16.99 if you go to paparomanos.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
To the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. You guys, this has been everywhere. Dan Campbell is aiming to shake things up a little bit, in his own words, with the Lions personnel this week. Will we see Goff get benched? Probably not. They're going up against the Rams. That would be pretty savage. I'd love it, though. I don't care about Jared Goff any longer. He's pissing me off way too much. But you guys, don't get your hopes up there. But what we could see, Maybe the return of Taylor Decker, which would move Penei Sewell. I don't know if that's what he's inferring there. If more reps will come for rookies or...
Okay.
I don't get it.
What do you not get? What's up?
All right. And again, I'm not criticizing Dan Campbell, but I'm just trying to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
He comes out post-game, criticizes Jared Goff. Do we all agree? He made it very clear. He was unhappy with Jared Goff. And then he kind of takes 2-3 steps back. So, well, the wide receivers are missing assignments as well. And now it's like, I'm going to shake up the team. And it's like, well, I'm not going to really clarify how I'm going to do that yet. You know, what are you doing? Guys, when I said yesterday that your head coach, Dan Campbell, seems a bit over his head on this job, this is what I mean. When you are a leader of a company, you don't make mistakes, especially in communication. Now, in the sense of everybody makes mistakes, of course, it happens. But when you're the leader of an organization, you are held to the highest standard. And that is something I'm not sure he's totally aware of. When you can't just say things just to get you by in a press conference. There are 20, 30 media members ready to write down everything and use it against you. You need to choose your words very carefully, Dan. So when you say, I'm going to shake up the team, well, really, Dan, the only thing I can really think of is you're making a change at quarterback. You're benching Jamal Williams. You're playing him in the slot. I don't know. Like, I really can't wrap my head around what this means. You're moving Penei Sewell to right tackle? No shit. You've been saying it since a training camp. So where are we going with this? Somebody please explain to me. What is this significant change that's going to come about? I really don't understand.
No, I don't think.
And one more thing, please, before I continue.
Yeah,
and I don't want this to come off as I'm completely anti-Dan Campbell. This is a guy in his first year of a true head coaching experience. But let's call it what it is. The guy looks a bit in over his head. And may I remind all of you, he was hired before the GM. He was hired before the GM. Now you tell me how, what the odds are of that actually working are, Jeff, honestly. Again, does it work? I hope so. Believe me, I'm tired of rebuilds. I am tired of a losing standard in this city just for the football team. I am tired of it. But you're going to rely on that to overcome 60 years of pathetic football in one playoff win? Guys, remember your history here. So...
And it's not Brett Holmes' guy, to your point. I mean, it's not. It makes perfect sense. But what Dan Campbell essentially means when he says, I'm going to shake things up, I mean, there's not really much to shake up. What are you going to do? You have a team that's not very talented, injury-riddled. It could just be simply practice regimens, simple stuff, more so just trial and error, trying things out, not only in practice but in the games. Like he said, he's going to try and work more of that 2-minute offense for Jared Goff to get him into a rhythm earlier. So, I mean, it's really all the things we should expect from a coach who's 0-6. I mean, it's nothing negative that he's saying these things. It's actually good. You want him to be very transparent with the media and say exactly what's going on. He can get a little ahead of himself when he's speaking. He's saying a bunch of different stuff. Like he threw Jared Goff under the bus. Like Adam said, he kind of shifted it to the wide receivers. Then he backed off and said, "Well, I'm gonna shake things up." Not say what I'm shaking up, but it's important for any head coach, especially in their first year, like Dan Campbell's doing, establish a culture. I think he's doing a great job doing just that. I think he's also aware that these players won't be in the Lions really near future. I mean, it's pretty much an evaluation process for all position groups besides Jack Fox and TJ Hockenson. I mean, no one's really safe. So, and he knows that. I think that's really what it comes down to, the whole shake things up. I don't think necessarily he's talking about, I'm benching Jared Goff, because we already went over this yesterday. I mean, what are your chances? You bench Jared Goff, you go to David Blau. How crazy would that be? Getting benched, going against LA, that would be crazy. Or even in the middle of the game, imagine he plays horribly and they end up putting David Blau in. That'd be embarrassing for Jared Goff. But more importantly, what does it give you? Well, you have David Blau, who, in my opinion, is nowhere on a level. I mean, Jared Goff's bad, but there's David Blau bad, and that's a little below Jared Goff. So if you're putting in David Blau, maybe it helps you get it 0-17. It could help you reach that, but other than that, you're benching a guy who you're paying $30 million to. It doesn't make any sense. And you have Jared Goff next year as well, so why bench him to keep him next year, to play him again? It just doesn't make sense. You're shattering a guy who doesn't have a lot of confidence to begin with. Now he's going to be obliterated. So it just doesn't make sense. Leave Jared Goff in there. So it's not really necessarily meaning shake things up, changing the quarterback spot. It could be It could be, moving up second string guys, giving guys like Poppy Price less snaps or giving guys like Jared Jacobs more. I don't know. It could mean a lot of things. I don't agree with Dan Campbell is in over his head. Although I get what you're saying, what Adam says when he says he's in over his head, because some press conferences it does seem like that. But in terms of his character and his leadership and what he actually knows about football, like the guy is, I don't think he's in over his head. I think he understands what this franchise historically has been, and he's been very vocal about that, especially in his press conferences, how bad the Detroit Lions, the history is. He played here. He didn't play the season we went 0-16, but he was on the roster. So he's well aware, and I think he knows game by game the pressure's mounting. I mean, you lose a game, especially the game versus Minnesota, you come out, you get blown out to Cincinnati. He's well aware that every week you're going to have to say I'm changing things up. We're shaking things up. Because what are you going to do? You can't sit there and be content. You're 0-6. He wants to show that he gives a dang. So it's kind of a, it's a personal draw with him between trying to say the right things and just looking like a complete ass, pretty much. So I think he's done a good job. I mean, you can question the crying and the being ticked off the next week, but at the end of the day, the guy just wants to win. So I don't have a problem with him saying he's going to shake things up. If anything, the Lions need a whole lot of shaking up. They need to actually shake up everything, including the quarterback position, in the next couple of years. So I got no problem with it. Honestly, Dan Campbell, if anything, the next couple games, if he's shaking things up now, what happens when you're losing more and more games? He's just going to he's just turning everything in. He's turning in his badge. He's done.
This has nothing to do with winning football games. Really put this into context, guys. This has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with winning football games. This is how you are handling and coaching through your situation. We all understand, Dan, that you took over one of, if not the worst roster in the NFL. We understand. I'm expecting 2, 3, maybe even 4 wins this year. That's it. Next year, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the most. I doubt it, but 7. Show improvement. And by year 3, you better be a winning football team. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about that to understand? But, oh, it's like you guys, you're expecting him to win. Duh. No, not expecting him to win at all. But, guys, go look around all the successful head coaches you've ever seen take over different franchises. And just find me the scenario where it kind of looked like what you have right now. Go, just show me it. You know what it looks like to me? And maybe I'm a bit early on this. But you know what? I'm just going to call it how I see it. You know what this looks like to me? This looks like the bridge head coach before you bring in the guy like a Kevin Stefanski, like a Sean McVay, like a Kyle Shanahan. The guy that kind of just is there, setting the tempo, getting the players better, helping out. And by year 2, 3, it's like, all right, this isn't the guy. We bring in the next guy and you win 11, 12 games that following year. That's what it looks like to me. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Dan Campbell proves me so wrong, and he leads this team to multiple division titles in the next 4, 5, 6 years. I really do. But that's what it looks like. And if you aren't willing to say that, well, then you're delusional. Honestly. Because you're not willing to accept or even have a conversation of what it really looks like. Guys, I've seen good head coaches lose football games. When you're a head coach in the NFL, you are the leader of a 53-man football roster.
And face of an organization.
Kumbaya.
Yeah.
Kumbaya. And we're going to get there one day. Has never worked out. And you go find me the example. Please, I beg you. I tried. I didn't find it. Go find me the Kumbaya guy who walked in, lost a crap ton of games year 1 and 2, and somehow magically turned around to be a division-winning, multiple playoff win, potentially a championship game appearance head coach. It doesn't exist.
Here's what I want to know from you guys. We are taking on the Rams this Sunday. And that is going to be, I think, a bloodbath no matter what we do.
For them.
Okay, Fish. But is this the week to even try and shake things up? I mean, can it get worse? Would you take a risk shaking it up this week? Or I don't know.
Look, guys, this is my point. This is such an overreaction from this coaching staff. It's like they're losing their minds. Like, how are we losing these games? Like, understand the room. You don't have a good football team. And you crying after a loss and then following it up angry. Like, I don't know what to expect from you. I'd like to know what my head coach is going to do week to week. I know if my head coach loses, we're going to come out and we're going to play an even better game the following week. Less penalties, less turnovers. I don't know what I'm getting from this football team. It's ridiculous. Now, you guys want to use Kyle Shanahan as an example. Guys, can we stop throwing names out and comparing them to Dan freaking Campbell, an assistant coach, tight ends coach, compared to a prodigy coming from a Hall of Fame, who should be a Hall of Fame head coach, and Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
His father took the run zone scheme, adjusted it, and perfected it into the modern game, and is, when given a quarterback, he has one of the best records in the NFL. But, of course, without any head coach, look at Bill Belichick, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, struggles without his starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You can't win football games without your starting quarterback. So, yeah, you want to use Kyle Shanahan's record, be my guest. But Dan Campbell walking into the job was no Kyle Shanahan. And that's what you guys really need to start getting on board with. He's kumbaya, great for the culture. I love the attitude of this football team. But that doesn't mean you win football games long term. You win football games long term by getting adequate talent and having very good coaching. And if you don't have either or one of, you don't win long term. And that's been the Lions' problem for the longest time. Kennedy?
I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this yesterday, but I'm sure you touched on it. His Campbell's comments about not putting it all on Goff. Here's my other question. I feel like this is the chicken before the egg. Which was first? There's Goff sucks and the wide receivers suck, so he can't do anything because he doesn't have wide receivers, but the wide receivers can't do anything because he can't get them the dang ball. So how much blame are you guys putting on Goff? I was pretty much putting it all on him. I won't lie. I was screaming at my TV on Sunday, like throwing a fit, and my mom was like, "You need to chill out." But it got to that point.
All you need to look at, honestly, to answer that question, people say like it's a wide receiver, it's Jared Goff. Look at when Jared Goff had Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and all those dogs a run game. And yes, he had good seasons, but also he would still fumble the ball and throw bad interceptions. So it's the proof is, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you look at guys like Tom Brady, who was at the Patriots, wasn't throwing a whole lot of touchdowns, but he wasn't turning the ball over, that's for sure. Went to a team that was stacked, and look at his statistics. I mean, that's the definition of a good quarterback. You go somewhere, you improve. Matthew Stafford's a perfect example. Plays for Detroit, for an awful franchise, still puts up nice statistics, goes to L.A., makes his statistics even better. I mean, that's what good quarterbacks do. They up their play when they have better teams around them, and Jared Goff, it's just he's struggling. So it is what it is. I don't even know if he'll be here next year as our starter. I mean, it's getting that bad.
Well, you don't have a choice. He's guaranteed $30.5 million next year.
Unless maybe they find a quarterback this year. I don't know. Late, they like him. If he's better than Goff, start the man.
Look, this is my biggest emphasis as a GM. All right? If you're a GM and you love the quarterback in the first round, you do whatever it takes to get him. I don't care. And if it's the wrong decision, that's why you get fired.
Yeah.
But I believe as a GM, if you love the quarterback in the first round, and Brad Holmes falls in love with a quarterback in the first round, he should do whatever it takes to get him. And if he doesn't, he needs to live with that decision. But Dan Campbell, I keep messing this up. Brad Holmes has a trump card that could save his job. And that is, I did not hire Dan Campbell. So if in 2-3 years' time he decides to cut ways, has the young quarterback, he's bought himself 2, 3, 4 additional years. Given the team shows progression, and he gets the head coach right. Guys, to win the 10, 11 games you talk about, you need to nail the front office, you need to nail the head coach, you need to nail the quarterback. You don't have any of those right now. You look promising in the front office. Your head coach, I'm not even going to say it because you guys will cry in the chat. So I'll try not to hurt anybody's feelings today. And the quarterback, let's be real, you need a new quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback. All right, good. We can agree. You don't have any of those. You can't be winning football games. What a shocker. Adam, you must be crazy to say they're only going to win 0 games, maybe 2, 3, 4. You're crazy. 10-7, Adam. 8 games. They're going to win 6. Shut up, all of you. Shut up and listen, and maybe you learned something. We got to go to break.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Chuck, in the chat, you have made my point perfectly. The wide receivers can't even show that they suck. Yes, I think that's put very well. I agree. They can't even show that they suck. I am over Jared Goff. But you guys, when we come back, we've been talking about our head coach that has said some things about Jared Goff. Now another head coach is talking about Jared Goff. We will tell you all about it when we come back. But first, we need to hear about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Yeah, listen, we talk about all these defenses. Well, I got a good defense for you. It's Guardian Alarm because they get it. Good defense on and out the field. It helps you feel essentially secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock your doors. Call this number 800-STAY-OUT today. That's 800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for keeping families safe for over 90 years.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Woodward Sports Network right here, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. You guys, Sean McVay wishes that he would have communicated better this whole Goff-Stafford trade. I have the exact quote if you guys want it, but if you just want to go for it, be my guest. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Adam, would you like the quote?
Let's read the quote.
Okay, let's read the quote. Quote from Sean McVay. To say it was perfectly handled on my end wouldn't be accurate. I'll never claim to be perfect, but I will try to learn from some things I can do better. And I think this was one of them without a doubt. You don't want to catch a guy off guard. It came together a lot faster than anyone anticipated, but of course, I like to think any time that tough decisions and things like that where people are affected, you always want to be understanding, empathetic, and think about things through the other person's lens, and there's certain things that I know I would do differently if and when those situations arise in the future.
All right. Do you mind if I start on this one?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yesterday I brought up the marriage analogy. You know, when you dump the girl, you move on, and you find yourself a 10, and you see her out in the distance, and she's with some random dude, not having a good time. She's unhappy, doesn't look good at all, gained some weight, whatever it may be. She's not doing too great. Hear me out.
I hate it.
So you're now sitting in this really good position. You're 5-1. The person that you acquired gives you everything you want. You give her everything you want. You have a very good relationship. Everything is looking really great. And it just so happens that you run into them at the bar. And you feel bad. So you want to take the higher road. And this is kind of how I feel about Sean McVay right now. Is I just think, yes, he could have done a better job. I think if you want to boil down to it, he could have done a better job communicating. He can admit that. But I think this is very telling. This is I'm just going to say whatever it is to be nice because I was so right about Jared Goff, and now everybody knows it, and it's the funniest thing ever. I'm sure he's dying laughing inside. They completely upgraded. They got the better of the deal. The Lions long-term will get the better of the deal, of course, but, I mean, the Rams are trying to win a Super Bowl. So mission accomplished for the Rams. They upgraded. Sean McVay is licking his teeth. He's licking his lips. He is so excited for this Sunday. And he's going to play nice guy. He's going to give Jared a big hug, tell him, I love you, man. Thank you for everything you did. And they're going to move on, and they're going to try to put up 70 on him. And the LA defense is going to try to shut out the Detroit Lions. That's what's going to happen. That's what they're going to attempt to do. Now, do they do it? We'll have to wait and see. That's football. But Sean McVay is just saying all this just because he knows he won the deal. He knows he's got the better girl. He knows he walked away from that relationship much better off than the girl he left behind. And that's Jared Goff. And that's just the truth. So he's going to play sympathy. He's going to play the nice card. But in reality, inside, he's laughing, and he is so happy that he got rid of Jared Goff when he did for what he did. Simple. So what do I make of his comments? I think he's being really nice. I think this is what you do when you're the bigger person. Is you play nice. Hey, Jared, we traded your ass spontaneously while I was on vacation. Probably should have communicated that with you, But you kind of played like garbage, so I wasn't a fan of you. I didn't trust you. I traded you. Goodbye. In comes Stafford. I trust him more. We look really great. You look like garbage. I'm going to be nice this week because I know I'm going to put 70 on you. That's simple. That's Sean McVay's thinking going into the week.
Yeah, Sean McVay, it honestly is a good thing he said this. It shows, I mean, it's like you said, he might feel bad. Now he doesn't care at all. He has his guy, Matthew Stafford. And I like the relationship analogy. You can compare a lot of analogies to this situation. I mean, you could say you start a new job, you just signed a new contract to make more money, but you didn't read the contract. And in that contract, they can cut you. And look at Jared Goff. After what? He signed that 4-year, I believe.
$128 million, something like that. Yep,
$134 million, $110 million guaranteed. Higher than Carson Wentz. Think about that. Higher than Carson Wentz at the time. He broke that record. And then Sean McVay essentially trading him without letting him know to the Detroit Lions. And listen, Detroit Lions, you shouldn't feel any type of way for getting rid of Matthew Stafford. You got 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick. I mean, the Lions had a very successful trade coming their way. So from the Lions' standpoint, they could care less. They had to get rid of Matthew Stafford anyway. So on Sean McVay, he's the guy that, 2 things can be true. Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. I mean, he was for a period of time, but now he's slowly regressed and all that. But Sean McVay could have handled it a little better. I mean, for your franchise guy who, took you to your first Super Bowl berth, and now with Jared Goff, his first Super Bowl berth, you sign him to a new contract, and then you dump him out the door. It kind of reminded me of Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin signed a Supermax contract with the LA Clippers, and right after that, Steve Ballmer said, see ya, kicked him right out the door, sent him to Detroit, and now he has his whole new team flourishing in LA. So it's just how business works. I mean, Sean McVay didn't have to apologize, to be honest, and no one would care because this is how the NFL, all across all professional sports, works. And
guys, I want you to really mentally prepare yourselves for what's going to happen Sunday, and it's a strong reality. Now, it may not happen, but it's a strong reality you may have to accept. Matthew Stafford may throw 8-9 touchdown passes. He may throw for 700 yards.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay may come out at halftime up 52-0 and still put out the starters. You know why? Because as much as you think it means to you in the city of Detroit and the Detroit Lions, it means much more to Sean McVay and that organization because they gave away 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff to get rid of him.
Yep.
They brought in a guy who's played levels beyond Jared Goff has ever played. So get ready. 8-9 touchdowns may happen this weekend. It's going to be bad. Cooper Kupp is a must-start. Robert, if you have a DraftKings lineup, if you play daily fantasy, you got to go for, let me think here. You got to go for Stafford as your quarterback, Robert Woods, or Cooper Kupp, either or, depending how you want to fit your budget. And then you want to put Deshaun Jackson or Vance Jefferson. Those are your main 3. All right? And then, let me think here. You probably go Rams defense, for sure. They'll probably get a few pick sixes. And then the rest, you just figure it out. And then probably you put DeAndre Swift or Jamal Williams because they'll get garbage time points.
Just throw Henderson
for
in
your
there
fantasy aspect, all right? So that's what I'm thinking. But I got to say, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad this weekend. I don't see how this team is remotely competitive. And again, guys, like, this is what I mean. When you know when you draft a rookie, guys, and you're like, he's good, he's special, we hit it. You know that feeling of we got it right. You knew with Sean McVay year 1, you knew with Kyle Shanahan, you just knew it was gonna work. You knew with Matt LaFleur. You don't know with Dan Campbell, and I could take positives from losses. The problem is he ain't giving me much. He hasn't shown me the brilliant coaching. He hasn't shown me how prepared he is. He's not carrying himself. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. But you know what? I haven't been wrong yet. And I don't know, something's turning in my stomach, telling me this is completely wrong, and it's an overcompensation hire for how awful Matt Patricia was and the culture he set here. Because let's be honest, Matt Patricia was a piece of you-know-what. Treated everybody like crap. And it was really toxic. And they went for the guy that was kumbaya. He does a great job of that. But that doesn't win you football games. And I know they're inept of talent right now. But I'm just saying, even without talent, you can still see the glimpses of coaching. Kyle Shanahan, with 85% of his roster on injured reserve last year, was able to go on the road in Seattle, go on the road in Los Angeles, and win football games with a backup quarterback and a depleted roster. Where's your excuse, Dan? I'm just saying. You guys can think and preserve the reality that you want. But you know, it doesn't take long for you to know if you have something special. Now, there are the cases where it's not special right away, but it turns out good.
Yeah.
But are you looking for good or special, Detroit? And last I checked, good hasn't been good enough. Good is what you had under Jim Caldwell. You didn't win anything. Do you want to be great, or do you just want to be good? I personally want to have a great franchise, a franchise I'm proud of, an organization that is consistently good for a 10, 15-year stretch, an organization I trust with a rebuild. That's the type of organization I want built. And you don't build that by being good. You build it by being great. And you hold yourself accountable to that extent. Now, again,
I just think it's a little too early to pull the...
I am
especially
totally
with this
on board.
roster, too. Like, you got to...
I agree, but again,
this roster,
guys, when you know, you know. You knew right away with Joe Burrow. You knew right away with Sean McVay. Guys, it's easy to see on the field if these guys are good or great or if they're just average.
Look at the organizations. Sean McVay, you knew. I mean, you knew. But listen, this roster is historic. I don't know what coach could win with this roster.
It's not about winning, though. See,
but looking good. I don't know what coach could.
Guys,
what are we looking?
I just told you.
Kyle
Shanahan last year dealt with Jimmy Garoppolo out, dealt with George Kittle out, dealt with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel in and out of the lineup. Totally depleted at running back. The defense was completely on IR last year. And he was able to go on the road and beat Seattle, go on the road and beat Los Angeles.
But they already have an established culture. That Detroit,
they have an established coach.
Everyone's shaking hands this year for Detroit, meeting each other.
Prior to Kyle Shanahan, they were a mess after Jim Harbaugh left. They were a mess. Kyle Shanahan walks in, and everything started to come together. And then they made a Super Bowl run. And then they dealt with injuries. But you know what? They had the coach. Guys, this is what I mean. Like, you can still show something even with a bad roster. I'm not asking Dan Campbell to win 5, 6, 7, 8 games this year. I'm not.
Define showing. Like, competing, I think the Lions have done a good job
competing
with how bad
is such
they
a
are.
Skewed word. It's not just about
when
competing.
You lose 44-0 last year, I mean, it means something.
Every team in the NFL.
Competing is...
Every team in the NFL competes. Every player competes.
I disagree. I mean, there's teams that don't... I mean, you see teams get shut out. They compete, all right.
They're competing, but they're just not good enough, or the game plan's not working that day. Teams can get shut out. It's not the end of the world. The Lions should have been shut out in 3 or 4 games this year. They've been shut out in halves.
You're making my point. They should have been they've been shut out in halves. They should have been shut out for the probably majority of the game.
But showing fight doesn't mean you're a great head coach.
No, it shows you get the most out of your players.
If he's not getting the most out of his players, that's the point.
Are you kidding me?
He's not getting the most out of Jared Goff. He's not getting the most out of the wide.
What are you getting out of Jared Goff? That's the question.
Okay, so now we're gonna deviate from my point. This is the whole conversation of when you're a head coach, you guys, you just know if he's gonna be great or special. You don't know that. You don't know that right now. And is it too early?
Of course.
I can make the argument and
now.
agree with you that, yes, it is too early.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too ahead of myself right now. But I'm just saying, if you're honest with yourself, you go home and look in the mirror, you just know. You knew year 1, Caldwell was going to work out. He kind of worked out. He didn't deliver, which means he wasn't great, he wasn't special, but he was good. But you don't want good Detroit. You don't want good for the Lions. You want great, you want special, you want something that you can be proud of. Winning 9-10 games under Dan Campbell in year 3 is not special. It's not, oh my God, we're back. You were never there. Win a division. Win multiple divisions in a 4 or 5 year stretch. Come on. Have some standards. When we get to this point, I will be so happy. But right now, you're not there. I'm not expecting the head coach to win you football games. But more importantly, guys, you have to be honest. You knew Jeff Okudah wasn't it. You knew Hawkinson after game 1. He's a baller. He's a tight end for years to come if he can stay healthy.
Players, of course.
You see it with coaches.
You've seen it with disagree. I mean, what do you...
You've seen it with LaFleur. You've seen it with McVay. You've seen it with Kyle Shanahan. You've seen it with Pete Carroll when he walked in. You've seen it with a multitude of coaches. They had something. Now, did it translate right away? Absolutely not.
What was that something? Explain to me. What is that something?
Head coaching experience, ability to get more out of the team than what they're capable of.
That's Dan Campbell.
No,
you
he's
can make
not.
that argument. Are you joking me?
He's getting more out of this team.
They've lost. Yes, how bad this team is. How bad this team is in 2 of the games.
How bad this team is, and they're 0-6. How bad this team is, and they've been shut out 4 of the 6 games in a certain half. In a given half.
Yeah, you're clearly not watching these Lions games.
Clearly,
if you watch these Lions games,
clearly
they're
you think
playing
Dan Campbell is actually getting more out of this roster.
They're getting
when
more
you go back and watch the film.
Defensively, do you think he's getting
now
more?
we give Dan Campbell. Okay, whoa.
Okay, hold on. Let me talk.
Aaron Glenn, I've been
out
praising.
of the players. Do you think Dan Campbell? How bad these players are?
Mm-hmm.
Who's responsible for making them play better? Please tell me. Is it the players? The players are playing better. So coaching has nothing to do with how good Derek Barnes looks. These guys are playing good football. Who are we giving credit to?
You're missing the ball. You're
missing the ball.
No, I'm not. No, you're
I guess
missing
the
point
coach does
clearly
nothing,
here.
dude.
You
I don't know.
You know
what
who
the
Dan Campbell is right now?
Who?
He reminds me a lot of Freddie Kitchens.
Didn't you say you give him till
Jackson.
next Thanksgiving?
I am going to give him till next year.
Nope.
I'm not
You're
firing
already trying
him
to get
right
the
now.
guy fired.
No, I'm not. Don't you dare.
That is what's coming out of your mouth.
Don't
that
you
is
dare.
what's coming out of your mouth.
No, it's not. Did I say Dan Campbell should get fired?
You said you see
should be very careful,
right
Jeff.
away.
You should be very careful with what you're saying. I'm not saying Dan Campbell should be fired. I am telling you, and I'm giving you multiple examples of when you know, you know. It's that simple. I'm not accusing anybody of everything. I'm not saying he should get fired. I am simply saying sometimes, guys, you're just able to tell right away. And there are scenarios where they don't look great early on, and then they come out and they turn out good. But do you want good Detroit, or do you want great? Now, we'll have to see what happens when the team gets better in the offseason. Can he win more games next year? Are they more competitive? We'll see. But we got to go to break.
We do. And all this Lions talk makes me want to tell you guys what you should do this weekend. And that is come hang out with us at the Lions pregame. You guys know it's an away game. We're facing off against the Rams, which means we're going to be at O'Toole's in Royal Oak. But if you can't make it out, we'll also be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. live. You guys already know what it is, but the party can't end at the pregame. Heck no. So you should go to the Lions postgame show with Woodward Sports and Jim Beam at the Brass Rail. It's downtown, starting live at the 2-minute warning of every single Lions game. Your guys' friends Anson and Stick will be there, so you can go hang out with them at every single Lions game downtown at the Brass Rail. Bunch of fun. All right, you guys, when we come back, we're going to talk more Lions, which is fun. People, we've been hearing all about Cam Newton. We'll tell you if we should or shouldn't do it when we come back.
Papa Romano's has a pizza that is pleased to meet you. The Pizza Pizza is a sizzling deal and fully loaded with pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Get a large Pizza Pizza for $16.99 at paparomanos.com.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for joining the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, we're going to get into this Cam Newton stuff. Should the Detroit Lions make a move for Cam Newton? Yes or no? Let's explain why. But I want to touch on why he got cut in the first place. We all know what happened, but a lot of it saying he would be a distraction in the locker room if the Pats would have kept him. But you guys, do the Lions need another distracting person? Is Dan Campbell already distracting? Goff, I think, is even a little distracting. I don't know. It's a no from me personally, but I want to hear it from you. So, Jeff, Cam Newton, yes or no?
No. Cam Newton, listen, I respect Cam Newton. That is my guy. I love watching Cam Newton back when he was on the Carolina Panthers. Had some great years, but come on, the guy's 32 years old. Last year, he threw 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The Patriots cut the man. I'd rather start Mac Jones, who's, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this year. Would rather start him over Cam Newton. And I love Cam Newton, but the presence Cam Newton brings to any franchise you're signing him to, I mean, whether you're the Miami Dolphins or whoever's going to sign Cam Newton or wants to sign him, you're getting Cam Newton's fame with him. I mean, you're getting his aura, you're essentially dealing with Dan Campbell already, essentially as really the face of the Detroit Lions. Now you got Cam Newton in here who you're going to pay what to? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Jared Goff is your quarterback. I mean, if Lions fans just have to face the facts, he's your quarterback for this year, for next year, unless the Lions get a quarterback this year in the draft, maybe a better one than Jared Goff out the gates, but you're not signing a guy like Cam Newton. What is he going to do? People really expect this is like Madden. You're going to pick up a guy like Cam Newton, he's going to come to your team, and you're going to just play well all of a sudden. I mean, that's not how this works. Cam Newton isn't going to help this offense. He could throw the ball probably better than Jared Goff at times, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it does not matter. The Lions, they stick with Jared Goff. They're paying the man $30 million a year. In all the flaws he has as a quarterback, you don't really have a choice at this point. You address it in the draft, the Matt Corrals, whoever. I'm not a big guy on Malik Willis, but it does not matter. Brad Holmes gets his guy, and we'll figure out from there a guy who you have on a rookie deal. You're not paying Cam Newton for a year or two, whatever the case may be, whatever you sign him to. It's pointless. And
Cam Newton sucks.
He sucks. I mean, that's a good way of putting it.
Come on.
Honest.
Are we doing
sucks.
this? What is today? Tuesday already? We're dealing with this crap?
Yeah.
He sucks. He's out of the league for a reason.
Bring in Tim Tebow.
Guys, if you want to win 0 games, bring in Cam Newton. All will go according to plan. You want to win negative games? Sign Tim Tebow. Just for Kennedy.
Let's go, baby.
Honestly.
Listen, you don't sign Cam Newton. It's pointless. You're committed to Jared Goff for the next 2 seasons. Why does it matter? Cam sucks. He, in his 10 seasons, has thrown under 60% in a league where the corners can't even touch the wide receivers. 6 out of his 10 seasons. He's out of the league for a reason. He is no longer the Cam Newton of old. He's not the Cam Newton that was special all those years in Carolina where they won multiple 10, 11-win seasons and went to a Super Bowl. He is not that same Cam Newton. He just isn't. So, please, excuse me. Cam Newton should not be a Detroit Lion. If you think Jared Goff can't do anything with the wide receivers, wait till you see what Cam Newton does. It ain't going to be any prettier. And you're going to be running the ball a lot more. Maybe your goal line gets more, your red zone goal line run game is much more effective. Sure, you upgrade there. But stop. You don't need a quarterback. You don't need anything. You need to lose as many games as possible. And if a team is willing to give you the farm sink for that number 1, number 2 overall pick, and you go back a spot or 2, do it. You get a Kyle Hamilton, a Thibodeau. Who knows? Who knows who falls to you? Or you just take Thibodeau number 1 overall. Who knows? You go and you get your guy. That's all you need to worry about. Losing as many games as possible this year. That's all you need to worry about. That's it. Cam Newton does nothing for you. Cam Newton does nothing for many football teams. Why hasn't Houston signed him? Why hasn't Seattle signed him? Why hasn't Washington signed him? His former head coach. He's vaccinated now. He's allegedly gotten offers, but it needs to be the right situation. What's the right situation, Cam? I'm not sure. If you want to be in the league so bad, go take the job. And for certain people who think he could be doing the same, if not a better job than Matthew Stafford in Los Angeles, you really need to reevaluate yourself and really think this through. You think for a second Sean McVay would have given up 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff if he knew he could sneak away with Cam Newton for a 6th, maybe a 7th-round pick, or get him as a free agent after he was cut? You're joking yourselves. Cam Newton isn't 5% of the quarterback that Matthew Stafford is right now. Cam Newton, if he stepped into the league on one of these rosters, would be one of, if not the worst quarterback in the NFL. It's a given. So stop. You don't need Cam Newton. You don't need Tim Tebow. You don't need it. You don't want it. You don't need it. You're going to be bad this year. You're going to be 5, 6, 7 win team next year. And maybe by year 3, you actually take the step where you're winning 9, 10, 11 football games. That's your reality, Detroit. And it helps that you have 2 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. But that's it. That's it. But let's all keep in mind, even the bad teams in the NFL, which we can agree the Lions are a bad football team, even they find a way to win 5 games every single year. Even they find a way to win 4 games every year. So let's see how the season plays out. Get Cam Newton away from me. He shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL right now, unless the team is completely desperate. But he's not a good enough quarterback to be on a contending team, and it's a kind of a waste to have him on a bad team because you might as well just play the young guy and see if you have anything in him, which is what Washington is doing correctly. So big no to Cam Newton. Kennedy, what do you think?
What I want to know is a lot of people are saying bring in Cap. And
No,
is
why?
that even real? Like, I don't know if people are being serious.
He hasn't played football in, 4 or 5 years?
No, that's got to be a troll. There's no way.
Come on, guys.
I've seen
Stop.
it everywhere.
Stop
I'm like,
with
I don't
this
know. I
garbage.
can't tell if they're
Stop.
kidding or not.
If Kaepernick wanted to be in the league,
I would rather have Blau. David Blau.
I would
Why
rather.
aren't we giving him a chance?
I would rather
Put Blau
re-sign.
in.
I would rather re-sign Jared Goff. Just stop. Stop the nonsense. Stop. Stop with Cam Newton. Stop. Stop with Colin Kaepernick. Stop. Cap. You know what makes both of them great? when they were really great in the
When they
NFL?
were good.
Their ability to run the football. Their dual threat ability in a time where really the NFL and the league really wasn't adjusted for it. And Cam Newton was really dominant with the Panthers, and we all know what Cap did with the Niners, but just stop. Stop. Jared Goff sucks, Cam Newton sucks, and so does Colin Kaepernick. Neither are going to fix your situation. You just suck. And so does your quarterback. Get over it. You're committed $30.5 million next year, guaranteed to Jared Goff. You're stuck with him. You're not bringing in another quarterback. Stop with the nonsense. Just stop. I'm done. Done with this conversation.
Someone said, I'd rather have Helen Keller at quarterback. You know,
I would rather have Fish. But it doesn't make a difference.
Crush.
You're winning 2 to 4 games maybe with Fish, Goff, Cap, or Newton. What's the difference?
Fish, you would crush. You would take it to the Super Bowl, buddy. Don't let them talk that like that.
Well, speaking of the
And
Super
if this
Bowl,
organization
the Lions
is
don't have a
considering-
chance to go to the Super Bowl.
They
I
gotta
hope
win
you know
out,
that.
Fish.
If this organization is considering
got one more
signing Cam
loss.
or Kaepernick, they should really think about selling the team or just firing the entire front office. That is totally unacceptable.
If I'm a team that needs a quarter, like if I'm listen, you could argue that Cam is better than Geno Smith, though. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're some teams, Cam's not a bad option, but yeah, for the Lions situation, it's horrible. I mean, why would you do that, man? Let Cam Newton go somewhere
Cam
else.
Newton a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford right now? Am I missing
No.
something?
Did someone say that?
No, someone said, so Stafford, no MVP, no All-Pro, better, LOL. Yes,
They're
better.
all backups. What are you guys talking about? He can run the RPO. Wow, Mike. What a great point. What a great point. He can run the
I think
RPO.
Mike's being serious.
Congratulations. You got maybe 1% better. Last I checked, there's only one person in the NFL that can really run the RPO. That's freaking Lamar Jackson. Not Cam Newton, not Jared Goff, not Colin Kaepernick. So stop with the nonsense.
Bob's big boy said we already have Helen Keller at wide receiver.
Yeah, keep focusing on the wide receivers, not the quarterback missing all the reads.
I'm
Cam,
giggling.
Kaepernick, Goff, doesn't matter. They're all currently backups in the NFL right now. That's their ability right now. You're not getting prime Cam Newton. Stop with the multiple All-Pros, Pro Bowls, MVPs. Shut the hell up. That's not the Cam Newton you're signing. It is not. In his career, he's thrown for under 60%, 6 out of his 10 seasons. Go tell me that's the quarterback you want. Enough. And the roster isn't Carolina Panthers good enough roster. It's not a top defense in the NFL. So stop with the nonsense. You're not getting prime Cam Newton. Stop. Move on. Next topic.
Next topic, we got to talk about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. But when you guys come back, we're going to do our mid-season rookie QB report. So stick around for that. But our friends at Underdog.
All right, guys, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy, not this idiotic Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick top. It's unbelievable. The NFL season is underway. You can still draft a new fantasy team each and every week. Sign up today using code WSN. They'll match your $10 deposit with their very own $10, courtesy of Underdog Fantasy. Use their slick mobile and user-friendly app and website to sign up today. Super convenient and easy. Download their app in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WSN. Use it today. Put in $10. They'll match and give you a free $10 on the house.
Hi, I'm David Hall from All Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. And what a beautiful Tuesday morning it is. I'm looking outside. The sun's out. The sky is blue. We're all alive. So many things to be so happy about. And I just know Adam is not steaming over there at the chat. He is smiling and in such a good mood. But you know what puts me in a good mood? Are these rookie quarterbacks, for the most part. Trevor Lawrence, first dub. That's my boy. That is my boy. All right, so let's start with him, actually. Jags get their first win. Trevor Lawrence. What are you guys thinking?
So you grading him for the whole year, or are you grading him for the week? Which one are we doing, Adam? You grade him for the year or the week?
Yeah,
okay, you know what?
Mid-season.
Gotcha. So Trevor Lawrence, we'll start with him. 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's actually picked it up. The first couple games were horrendous for Trevor Lawrence, something that we did not expect from the number 1 overall pick, someone who was very dynamic in college, throwing the ball. And a lot of these rookies struggling with interceptions. I think Mac Jones is the only one with a positive touchdown-interception ratio. So it says a lot about him as a player. But Trevor Lawrence, if I had to give him a grade, he's got 60% completion, just under 60% completion percentage. He's got to get that up. 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I give him a C, maybe a C or C minus. I mean, that's probably the only area I'm willing to go with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he will get better every single week, but in terms of 59% completion percentage, I mean, you gotta. He is so talented at throwing the football. If we watch Trevor Lawrence, he's way better than what he's been playing over these last 6 games. So he'll get better, but as of 6 games, man, I'm giving him a C, C minus.
He really struggled early on,
Yeah.
and the last 3 games I've been very impressed. So I'm going to balance it out and give him a C+.
Okay.
They won their first game in London. Big win for them. Congratulations to... Yeah, we know, Kennedy. You and Urban Meyer. Get over it. Anyways, listen. I'm going to give him a C+. I think he's played as well as he probably could play given the start and the situation he had. The entire Urban Meyer situation hasn't helped. Darrell Bevell, let's keep in mind, is his offensive coordinator, so that doesn't help. I'm going to give him a C+. I think there's only one quarterback playing better than him right now. We'll get to that a little later. But my evaluation of Trevor Lawrence, he's as advertised. He may not be playing to the level maybe you'd like, but again, he's a rookie. I'm going to give him time. He's shown he can make the throws. He's shown he can win now. We'll see how he grows and builds throughout the rest of the year. Moving on, Mac Jones. Jeff, who do you got?
Mac Jones, this, like I said earlier, the only quarterback this year with a positive touchdown interception ratio. I give Mac a B minus. I mean, this is a guy who is very efficient throwing the football. He leads all rookies by a landslide in completion percentage. He's throwing 71%. I mean, the guy's efficient. He'll turn the ball over sometimes, but you can make an argument. I mean, he doesn't really have a number 1 wide receiver as Kendrick Bourne. Okay, but say what you want about Kendrick Bourne. He's okay. He's got nice games. But Jacoby Myers, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with, and he's still positive in that area. So I'd give him, you know what? I give him a B. I feel strongly about that. I give him a B. I like Mac Jones.
I was going to give him a B minus. I don't hate the B record, but they're 2-4. He's played good. He's never played extremely well, but he's never played extremely bad
He's just
either.
stayed level.
He's just so consistent, and that's what the Patriots knew they were getting out of him. I really like Mac Jones. Right now, I'm going to give him a B minus. I think his ceiling as a quarterback is B plus. I don't think he's an A-tier quarterback. So good for Mac Jones. Moving on, Zach Wilson. I'm going to give Zach Wilson
Let me hear
a
this.
D plus.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to give him a D plus because the turnovers are a problem.
Yep.
Now he's starting to get a little better, less chaotic, and really a little more consistent with how he delivers the football. But he needs time. We saw this with Josh Allen. I mean, you can go out there and find the examples you want to justify the Zach Wilson draft pick if you want to, but he's got to limit the turnovers. He just has to. If he keeps turning the ball over like this, he'll be out of the league in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get himself under control, take what's given to him, and if he can do that, he may find success in the NFL. What's your grade for Zach Wilson?
Listen, D plus. I had D. It doesn't really matter. I think the D area is honestly that's Zach Wilson because his play, especially turning the ball over. You could talk about the fumbles. He has 9 interceptions, 57% completion percentage, below Trevor Lawrence's completion percentage. So he's turning the ball over more than Trevor Lawrence, and he's less efficient. So at that point, you're giving a C minus to Trevor Lawrence. You got to give a D to Zach Wilson. I think there's something there with Zach Wilson. I just think, like Sam Darnold, you're in a situation that it's very hard to succeed in, especially as a rookie. He has like a number 1 wide receiver, Corey Davis, but he doesn't really have much besides that. So the jury's still out on Zach Wilson, but I'll give him a D through 5 games so far.
All right. Moving on, a quarterback also with a win under his belt, Trevor Lawrence. How do you feel about Trevor Lawrence? I'm kind of reserved on him. I think I'm going to... Oh, excuse me.
Go to Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Sorry. Sorry, my mind was spinning.
I know what
elsewhere.
you meant. Justin Fields, yep.
Justin Fields. I think my grade is a bit harsh. I'm going to let you start. Maybe we're on the same page. I don't know.
I don't know. See, this is tough for Justin Fields because he was undefeated as a starter. He just lost his first game to a tough team. Justin Fields hasn't really displayed anything eye-popping, but like you said, they've been playing really safe with Justin Fields. I think they've had a good game plan. Matt Nagy kind of turning the play calling over. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Doesn't throw the ball that well. I mean, it's hard to really give this guy. If I'm going to give him a grade, it's going to be probably a C-, arguably D+. I mean, I don't know. Justin Fields isn't losing you games, but he's just winning them. So it's hard, man. He beat a good Las Vegas Raiders team, though, so that kind of carries his grade a little bit.
I could be very harsh right now, but I have to also take into consideration he wasn't asked to start going into the year, similar to Trey Lance. So it's kind of unfair to grade them, but I'm going to give him a D. Okay. And I'm going to give him a D also because he's been limited in what he's been allowed to do. They haven't fully released Justin Fields yet. He hasn't made a ton of mistakes. He's made a few, but I mean, it's nothing terrible. He keeps them in football games. He's kind of a game manager right now.
Yeah.
I think they all are, really, to an extent. Mm-hmm. No one's really shown they can be the playmaker, X-factor quarterback, maybe outside of Trevor Lawrence.
He's putting up yards, yeah, Trevor.
So outside of Trevor Lawrence, no one's really taken that next step. So I got to give Justin Fields a D, even though he's 2-1 as a starter. He's not 2-2, he's 2-1. He came in midway into the game. He didn't get credit for that loss. So he's 2-1 as a starter. I think the Bears are really giving him time. They're trying to limit as much as they can what they're asking from him. Maybe I'm a little harsh on the D grade. It could be a little higher. I could make the argument maybe, but for now, I'm going to give him a D+ at the most. Moving on to the last quarterback who we've only seen limited action from, I'm giving him nothing.
Yeah,
I'm not giving Trey Lance a grade. Yeah. He couldn't throw the football at all in that game against Seattle.
Throws some fastballs.
He throws the ball.
Throws them hot.
Like, when it's accurate, it comes in hot. It's a super talented arm. I think we all can agree he has the talent. But I have to question his accuracy. Yeah. I mean, he was overthrowing a ton of balls. You don't overthrow in the NFL. You know what happens when you overthrow a wide receiver running across the middle? Gets intercepted by the safety.
Yep.
You can't overthrow. It'll be a detriment to his future progression. He's way too early. I told you they should have sat him for the year. Unfortunately, Jimmy G got hurt. What else is new? He'll be back hopefully sooner than later, and this kid can just relax, get the playbook under his belt, and hopefully just get better over time. I'm not giving Trey Lance a grade. What do you make of him?
Yeah, it's tough to give him a grade. I mean, I see someone put a B in the chat for. I mean, what are you grading Lance on? He'll use him in some RPO sets towards the red zone. Maybe he'll get in once or twice with his legs. But are you grading that as a quarterback report? I mean, you don't really have a good enough sample size. If Trey Lance kind of had the Justin Fields type resume where you have at least 3-4 games under you, maybe we can give you a grade. But Trey Lance, one game, like you said, struggled throwing the football. He's a quarterback that naturally throws the football extremely fast. He puts heat on it, and that's something he'll have to work on, kind of turn back a little bit, because we know Trey Lance's arm talent is off the charts. But when you get into the NFL, you got to make on-point, accurate throws. You don't have to necessarily make every ball a hot pass. You don't got to chuck it as hard as you can. So that's something he'll address, I think. But like you said, it's to your point. I don't think we can give him a grade. I mean, what are you grading on? If I had to, it'd probably be a D+ on one game. So it's too small a sample size.
He didn't look good. He looked mobile. He looked athletic, but he was very inaccurate with the ball. I don't want to grade him. Yeah. I don't want to grade him. The kid is very green. He needs a lot of time to develop. He does need a full season, maybe season and a half to develop. He does need time. Not all quarterbacks are created equal. Not all of them can walk into the league and dominate like a Justin Herbert. Not all of them can sit a year and still turn out good. It's just everyone has their own life situation. Everyone handles their situation differently. Trey Lance, I think, needs to sit the year, come back maybe mid-season next year, and hopefully he turns out to be the quarterback they traded up to get. But Kennedy, we got to head to break, don't we?
We do. And coming up next, for all of you people in the chat, I see it, you're waiting for it. We'll talk Red Wings just for you guys because we love you. But you guys, you both look ravishing today, by the way. Your hair, fabulous. So, Jeff, tell me about Lady Jane's.
Yeah, if you want to look as spiffy and as clean as my guy Adam over here in his nice suit, his nice haircut, you go over to Lady Jane's because they're open 7 days a week, 10 to 8. And listen, us men, we like things uncomplicated. Go to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. That's uncomplicated. You walk in, sit down, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, again, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with us right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We are the Morning Wood. You guys, as promised, we're going to get into Red Wings talk. They're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight at 7:30. And I believe our captain will be back. He was practicing yesterday. Good news after that gnarly hit and fight. He served his 1-game suspension. I think it was all BS, but I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you guys about that. Adam, Jeff, what did you think about the suspension, first of all, and what are your expectations for tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Well, the suspension, I was at the game, and I witnessed that notorious left hook that put Matthew Joseph down on his face. And you know what? I don't get it, because if anything, Matthew Joseph was intentionally trying to hurt people earlier in the game. Lucas Raymond got tripped up like 4 or 5 times. He tries to check Dylan Larkin in the back of the neck, the same neck that he injured last year against Dallas that put him out the whole season, and Dylan just absolutely snapped. I mean, he swung on the guy. But even before then, it was a very heated game. And I think, to Dylan's point, it's hard because last year they didn't even interview the guy who checked Dylan Larkin to hurt his neck. So it goes both ways. Like, yeah, should have Dylan Larkin. It's unsafe to punch a guy when he's not necessarily looking at you. He's going away. But at the same time, it's also dirty to try and intentionally hurt someone's neck like that. So it doesn't make any sense. He'll take the 1 game. I think Matthew Joseph and Dylan Larkin have talked already, and they've settled things. I don't know how that conversation went.
They said they texted.
Yeah,
and it settled.
I don't know how that conversation went, but it was interesting. But tonight, they go against the, I think, Columbus Blue Jackets. Yep. And they, Columbus Blue Jackets, they're 2-2 right now, or 2-0. Excuse me. The Red Wings are 1-1. The overtime loss that was very heartbreaking. Should be 2-2 if they played. They just continue to hold out and win that game. But nonetheless, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, they got if a healthy Patrick Lane is there, they are no joke. And this game, I believe, I don't know if it's away or it's in Columbus, but either way, it's going to be a tough game for the Red Wings, and I'm excited to watch some hockey tonight because we got NHL tonight. Tomorrow, you got Detroit basketball coming back, Cade Cunningham, so it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting to see Dylan Larkin still out, Bertuzzi, see these guys operate. Hopefully, we can see Lucas Raymond get a point soon. So, other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it, Adam. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
great
listen,
2 nights.
I know we're going to talk about the Red Wings a lot right now, but I want to focus on Patrick Laine. This kid has the potential of an Alexander Ovechkin from a goal-scoring standpoint.
Yep.
His head is just not in the game. And I hope he turns it around. He was already traded from the Winnipeg Jets. I really hope this kid fulfills his natural potential because he is outstanding. Having said that, I hope he doesn't show up tonight against the Detroit Red Wings. They play the Columbus Blue Jackets. Big game tonight. Red Wings looking to go 2-1-0. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's a young team. And there's a difference between watching a young team and a bad team. And when you're watching a young team, you expect the losses, but they're just playing so well, and they're so fluid and functional. You're like, wow, I can see how this translates 2, 3, 4 years from now. What you can't do, which is why we struggle with the Lions, is you look at this team and we're like, well, 80% of the roster may not even be here in 2, 3 years. Our top draft picks over the last 3, 4 years may not even be here. That is problematic. The Lions have that problem. The Red Wings don't. I'm excited for the Wings. Bertuzzi, I don't know if you're going to get the vaccine, dude, but, I mean, for all the people that were crushing him for getting it, I mean, he put up 4 goals and gave you 4 middle fingers. So, I think he still should, just for the team's sake, based on testing, the way the league mandates it.
Yeah.
I still think it's
Traveling
the right decision.
Is important.
Yeah, I still think it's the right decision, but, his choice at the end of the day. I got to say, like, when is the last time you were this excited to watch a Red Wings game? Like, I look forward to seeing it on TV now. And it's been years since I could say that. So
100%.
Overall, I'm just genuinely excited. Kennedy, how about you?
I'm pumped, but I'm sorry. I'm learning things in the chat. I never realized that Zadina is being investigated for his post-game conference. Did you see that?
No. What happened?
So he used what's now considered, and it wasn't back in. We have to remember he's from what? The Czech Republic, right?
Yep.
English. Not sure it's his first language. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's not. But he called someone the M slur for dwarfism, and like referring
on
to
the ice or post-game press conference?
Post-game, he said he got hit and he didn't like it, and so he called the guy a
small person.
Yes. And so now I guess he's being investigated by the NHL. We'll see if he serves any time for that. But I don't think he knew that. I mean, I'm not one to stand up for people that use any sort of slurs ever. But I genuinely do not think that Philip Zadina knew better.
I mean, hopefully the little person community can forgive him. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Listen, Zadina, in his defense, should he have used the word? Probably not. But did he mean it with intent like that to purposely hurt the community? No. I mean, the guy was probably a couple inches shorter than him, and he just said the word. I mean, it's just how it is. Hockey's competitive. You got guys from all over the world playing.
Also, have you ever been in a hockey locker room?
Oh yeah, they would
the
cancel
language
everybody.
in there isn't great, so I'm sure he probably doesn't know that it's even wrong. He's probably heard it in locker rooms in the past, and he probably had no idea. That's what I think, but I guess it doesn't matter because the NHL is now looking into it. So there's no way he would use a slur in a press conference knowing that it was wrong. That's just common sense. But
I mean, did it come off in a way where it slipped out, or was he like intending to say it?
No, he was like fully intending to say it. Like that's why I genuinely don't think that
he's either ignorant or he doesn't know what it means. It's one of the two.
Well, it's the same thing, being ignorant.
Well, I mean, to an extent. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, and you can call someone from a foreign country. They're supposed to understand the English language.
Right.
I mean, there's limits. I mean, if you were born in America, you were raised here, this was your first language. Okay, I mean, that's pretty ignorant for you to say. If you're from a foreign country, I mean...
But this is my thing. If the NHL is going to have an issue with it, I grew up in a hockey family. I played, my brother played, my dad plays. Like, I believe it's 17 and under is midget hockey. Like, that's genuinely what it's called, too. Like, that
Here or...
Here! It's,
really?
U17 hockey is midget hockey, is what it is called. Swear on everything.
In Ohio only, or like across the
the United States. So that's why it's like it's
I've
already
never heard
a
of
term,
this in my life.
Swear to you, it's already a term used in hockey, and it doesn't even. I don't think.
So
it
then why are
means
we killing him if it's a term used in hockey?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused about too. I mean, it's clearly a different context. I don't even know if that's like what it means for that. Like if it means younger people because it's like U17. Yeah, Mike G just said U17 is midget hockey.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Because that's genuinely what it's called. Like, that's not me using it in a derogatory way. That is what it is called here. So then hockey all needs an overhaul then, I guess. Because I'm confused now. So.
I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that. That's kind of like baffling. But regardless, I mean, we have a few minutes left. You want to talk about midgets or do you want to talk about football? Pick one.
I feel like
I don't understand. I don't understand what the NHL is doing.
I'm
I really
very confused
don't.
by it. And
back to the game.
Like I said.
Back to the game tonight. Excited.
Who do you think wins? Say right now.
I'll go Wings. Wings overtime loss actually.
Oh,
I think
that's
they fall.
awful.
Yeah, I think they lose another heartbreak. I think they're up 3-2 late. Columbus ties it, wins it 4-3 overtime or shootout. Doesn't matter. That's my game prediction for tonight. What about you, Jeff?
This is tough for me. I want the Wings to come out and get a W, but the Columbus Blue Jackets look serious. So I'll say Red Wings lose 3-2. All right, we'll go low scoring, lower. You know what? 3-2. I think it doesn't go to overtime. It would be interesting if they have 2 out of the 3 go to overtime. They lose again to overtime. How depressing would that be? But they're still competing. This Red Wings team will be right in it. They'll be a goal short, if not being going in overtime. So I won't be surprised either way.
All right, fair enough. We got a few minutes. We can touch back real quickly before we go. I want to ask Kennedy something.
No.
Hear me out. Hear me out, Kennedy.
Is it gonna be about Jared Goff?
No.
Okay.
No, don't worry. Back to Tim Tebow.
Yay.
All right. I have a genuine question.
Is it about what I said over break?
Answer honestly. Do you actually think that bum can play in the NFL, or is it just a heart attached, you just love him so much?
I love him so much.
Okay, thank God.
But
so you're not delusional.
I genuinely think we would have won a game already if Tim Tebow was at quarterback. Oh my God. I'm saying that with my whole chest. I do not care. If we had Tebow at quarterback, we would have 1 win.
So you have Jared Goff, someone who probably throws the ball better than Tim Tebow.
Nope.
And he
I
can't
can
even
throw
get
the ball
completions.
using my feet better than Tim Tebow can throw the football.
I don't know what it is about Jared Goff, but the way he moves, to me, the only way I can describe it is gumpy.
Jared, we're comparing.
He moves in a gumpy way.
Suck to suck. Everybody sucks that we're talking about.
Comparing
Kaepernick,
trash
Newton,
to
we're
trash.
just comparing garbage players together right now.
Yeah.
Stop. Move on. You can draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round this year, unless Brad Holmes falls in love and he takes one in the 1st round, or you're going to do it the following year. I'm not sure. I can't predict the future. I can kind of give you an educated guess on what could happen. That's probably what is going to happen. Okay, move on. Jared Goff not going anywhere. You have to pay him $30.5 million next year. You're not doing it, paying him to sit on the bench. Move on. We got to go.
We do have to go. Big D Energy coming up next. They will be squad deep with Joik Bell, Neil Rule, and D-Mac. You guys already know this has been the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We'll be here tomorrow, same place, same time. See you then.